This is the Leafs Convo special edition for Vanguard Northeast Realty, VanguardNE.ca. Norman James with Mike Jello. The breaking news, Austin Matthews has agreed to a 5-year contract extension with the Maple Leafs worth $11.634 million average annual value. Michael, your reaction?
The news of a 5-year deal was not exactly surprising because the indicators have been over the last few weeks that it was going to be a shorter term deal. I know that there was some negative feedback regarding the fact that they didn't save a ton. 11.6 is a significant cap hit on a 5-year deal. It's the largest cap hit in league history. But I mean, it's a new landscape in the NHL, and I think you're going to see RFAs like Rantanen and Braden Point making a lot more than normal 5-year contracts that players normally do in 5-year contracts. I think it's a good deal. Matthews in his comments, I mean, he clearly didn't want to sign a 5-year deal so he could get out of Toronto in 5 years. He realized that on an 8-year deal, the AAV would be more than McDavid. And they want to win a Stanley Cup in the next 5 years, and they need that cap space to be able to add players or sign other players. So I think it was a compromise on the side of the Leafs to get him at a more reasonable cap hit, and a compromise with Matthews to take less of a term. So I think both sides win and both sides are happy.
Leafs Conference TLC OGs, this is a special day for you, not just a financial windfall day for Austin Matthews. You get double the podcast from MIB and NJ. We just published Buzzin for Muzzin or something like that. It's everywhere you hear your podcasts, and of course the mothership, the YouTube channel. So when you're done with this, listen to that, or you probably listened to that, now you're listening to this. Thank you so much for all of your support. Michael, how does this 5-year contract extension with number 34, I mean, the de facto ace of the staff, top player in the organization, if you will, that is up for debate, and who knows how he'll be paid according to what Mitch Marner gets this summer. However, what did the Leafs do with this financial picture now? How can this benefit the Maple Leafs going forward? Because we know the window to contend and the window to win is open, if not wide open.
Well, Kyle Dubas said in some of his comments that knowing a sort of range of what Matthews was going to get enabled him to be able to pull off the Muzzin deal. You know, now that he knew what he would be paying Matthews, he could budget what Muzzin makes next year on the final year of his contract. So that was one thing. But I mean, we know that there's going to be some moving in and moving out of pieces in the summer. We know that they wanted to get some sort of cost certainty in terms of knowing what Matthews was going to make. I mean, obviously, Darren Ferris, Mitch Marner's agent, came out today, even after the Matthews signing, and stuck to his line of basically not wanting to talk about a contract extension until after the season. And that's his right. But, you know, one of the things that Matthews' contract does is it sort of puts a capper on how much Mitch Marner can make. I mean, he's a winger. Matthews is a center, and you've got two centers now making a little over $22 million in Tavares and Matthews. Mitch Marner is not going to make $11 million. He and his agent have to accept that. He may be one of the highest paid wingers in the league. He is a winger, and that there is a level, there is a cap on how much he can make. And if he makes 9.5, even up to $10 million, I mean, I think that's fair value, and that's going to be negotiated. But there's going to be some changes with 3 players making, you know, $31 to $32 million. There are going to be some players who are on the roster right now who are not going to be on the roster next training camp.
Austin Matthews missed a chunk of the season. So that's one of the reasons why Mitch Marner has more points. Mitch plays more minutes. He's represented by Darren Ferris, who's doing what he has to do for his client. We all know what Paul Marner can bring to the table. A lot of it's negative. Please tell me, Mike, we don't have a showdown brewing.
I don't think so. I mean, I think in the end, I mean, the words offer sheet have been thrown out there. I think they're scare tactics. I think in the end, Mitch Marner wants to play for the Maple Leafs. I think the Maple Leafs will treat him fairly. I don't think there's going to be an acrimonious situation like there was with William Nylander that goes into the season, that goes 2 months into the season. I think it'll get done. I don't think offer sheets are in the future for Mitch Marner. I think if there's reasonable conduct on both sides, and I have no reason to suspect that there won't be, then I think it will get done. Does it get done during the season? Probably not, but I think it gets done way before July the 1st.
Any final words, my friend?
Well, Dubas did say that now that he has Matthews on cost certainty, that now he knows on top of Muzzin, what the landscape will be before February 25th. And I continue to say that I think that Dubas and the Leafs are not done in terms of making moves. Now, they may not be big impact moves. I don't think they're going to go out and get another top 4 defenseman, but I think, they do have a little wiggle room to, move a player out, move a player in. So I'd still be on the lookout for that in the next few weeks.
What do you think? Kapanen, Sandin, a couple first-round picks for Roman Polak?
Yeah, that sounds good.
From Kristen Shilton on Twitter, she does a great job for TSN covering the Maple Leafs. She tweets, Kyle Dubas doesn't much care whether the Austin Matthews contract sets a new precedent around the NHL. Quote from Dubas, we're beholden to the Maple Leafs. I worry about what people think when I walk in here and when I walk through the door at home. I don't worry too much about the rest. Kyle Dubas for life, Mike.
Yeah, and the one thing about this contract, over 90% is signing bonus. It's front-loaded the first 2 years. That is a precedent that other teams will struggle with because they don't have the financial wherewithal of MLS&E. But like Dubas said, I don't care. I'm manager of the Leafs. You can manage your own team.
Damn Strizzy, baby. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. We'll get Marner signed in the offseason, bring in some more help before February 25th. Let's take a crack at Tampa. Let's take a crack at Boston, take a crack at the Cup. Look at me saying let's, but it's true. And then by next season, baby, I think that's when the Maple Leafs are going to finally open the door and shut it emphatically on winning the Stanley Cup. Michael, talk to you soon, buddy.
Thanks, Norman.